Life Philosophies Unleashed.
Have you ever had one of those moments where you feel like the universe is playing tricks on you? Like, you remember something so vividly, as if it happened yesterday, but when you go back to check, it's totally different, or worse, it never even happened? Yeah, that's what we're diving into today. And trust me, by the end of this video, you might be questioning everything you thought you knew about reality. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you're talking to a friend about a childhood memory. You both laugh about a certain scene from a movie, a product logo, or a famous line. But then someone pulls out Google and bam, it turns out you were both wrong. How can that even be? And why do so many people have the same wrong memory? Well, my friend, that's what we call the Mandela Effect. It's this eerie phenomenon where a large group of people remembers something a certain way, only to find out they've been collectively mistaken. But how can millions of people misremember the same thing? The term Mandela Effect came into existence thanks to Fiona Broome, a researcher who noticed how countless people believed Nelson Mandela had died in prison in the 1980s. Some even remembered watching his funeral on TV. But in our current timeline, Mandela didn't die until 2013. Weird, right? What's even weirder is that this isn't an isolated case. It keeps happening with all sorts of things, from movie lines to brand names, even to historical events. So, what's really going on here? Are we just bad at remembering things? Or is something bigger at play, like glitches in reality, alternate universes, or even time travelers messing with history? Stick around, because we're about to peel back the layers of this mystery. By the end of this video, you'll either think reality is breaking apart, or you'll have a new appreciation for just how strange the world truly is. But before we dive deeper, let me ask you, have you ever experienced something like this? A moment where you were 100% sure of something, only to find out it wasn't real? Think about it, and let's unravel the mystery of the Mandela Effect together. What is the Mandela Effect? Alright, let's get into the nitty-gritty. The Mandela Effect is one of those things that makes you pause and go, wait a second. Am I losing my mind? But don't worry, you're not alone. This phenomenon happens to millions of people, and it's named after the late South African president Nelson Mandela. Why him? Because a significant number of people vividly remember him dying in prison back in the 1980s. Some even claim to recall news reports, magazine covers, and public outpourings of grief. But here's the kicker. Nelson Mandela didn't die until 2013. So how can so many people share the same false memory? This isn't just about Mandela, though. The Mandela Effect shows up in all sorts of places. Take movie quotes, for example. You know the famous line from Snow White, "Mirror, mirror on the wall"? Well, it's actually magic mirror on the wall. Or how about Darth Vader's iconic line from Star Wars? "Luke, I am your father?" Wrong again. The real line is, "No, I am your father." And let's not forget the spelling of the Berenstain Bears. Many people are convinced it used to be Berenstain Bears, but apparently it never was. Crazy, right? What makes the Mandela Effect so mind-boggling is how specific these false memories are. It's not just a general feeling of confusion. It's like these memories are burned into our brains, complete with vivid details. So what's going on here? Are we all just misremembering things? Or could there be something more mysterious happening? Some scientists chalk it up to the fallibility of human memory. Our brains are complex, sure, but they're not perfect. Memories can be distorted over time, influenced by suggestion, or even fabricated. But is that really all there is to it? If it's just a quirk of memory, why do these errors happen to so many people in the exact same way? It's almost as if we're all tapping into some kind of shared consciousness, or perhaps a shared glitch in consciousness. Hold that thought, because next, We're diving into the wild theories behind this strange phenomenon. Theories behind the Mandela Effect. Now, this is where the rabbit hole gets deep. There are several theories floating around to explain the Mandela Effect, and each one is more mind-bending than the last. Let's explore them, shall we? First up, the most straightforward explanation: faulty memory. Psychologists call it confabulation, which is basically a fancy word for your brain playing tricks on you. Our memories aren't like a hard drive where everything is perfectly stored. They're more like a game of telephone, where details get distorted over time. Add in external influences, like hearing someone else's version of an event, and voila, you've got a Mandela Effect moment. Sounds reasonable, right? But here's the thing. If it's just bad memory, why do so many people misremember the same things? It's like there's some invisible force syncing up our mistakes. Now, let's crank up the intrigue with the parallel universe theory. Imagine this: there are infinite versions of reality, each slightly different from the next. In one universe, it's Berenstain Bears. In another, it's Berenstain Bears. And sometimes, these universes overlap or bleed into each other, causing us to remember things that no longer exist in our current reality. Think of it like flipping through TV channels and catching glimpses of different shows. Wild, right? Then there's the simulation theory, straight out of the Matrix. What if our reality is actually a massive computer program? If that's the case, glitches like the Mandela Effect could be bugs in the system. It's like when your computer crashes and files get corrupted. Maybe the programmers of our reality are tweaking things, and we're just noticing the errors. Creepy? Totally. Plausible? Who knows? And finally, the time travel theory. What if someone went back in time and changed something small like the color of Pikachu's tail? That tiny change could ripple through time, altering our present-day memories. It's like the butterfly effect, but with reality itself. Each theory is fascinating, but none of them fully explain the phenomenon. So, what do you think? Is it bad memory, alternate realities, glitches, or time travelers? Or is it something we haven't even imagined yet? Let's keep digging. Famous Mandela Effect examples. Now, let's talk specifics. The Mandela Effect has a knack for showing up in the most bizarre, mind-bending ways. It's not just about Nelson Mandela. It's about everyday things that you'd swear you remember correctly, until reality decides to pull the rug out from under you. Buckle up, because these examples will have you questioning your own memory. The Berenstain Bears vs. Berenstain Bears. This is probably one of the most famous Mandela Effect examples out there. If you grew up reading those delightful children's books, you probably remember the title as the Berenstain Bears. Spelled with an "een", right? Nope. Apparently, it has always been the Berenstain Bears with an "ein". Go check your old books if you still have them and prepare for a rude awakening. People are so convinced it used to be Ian that entire online communities have sprung up, debating whether we've slipped into an alternate reality. The Monopoly Man's missing monocle. Picture the Monopoly Man. He's got a top hat, a cane, and, of course, a monocle, or does he? Turns out, the Monopoly Man never had a monocle. Let that sink in. Could it be that we're confusing him with Mr. Peanut, who does have a monocle? Maybe. Or maybe it's another glitch in reality. Either way, it's unsettling how deeply ingrained this image is in so many of our minds. Pikachu's tail. Pokémon fans, brace yourselves. Many people distinctly remember Pikachu having a black-tipped tail. It's such a specific detail that it's hard to believe it's not true. But when you look at Pikachu's actual design, his tail is entirely yellow. No black tip. So where did this memory come from? Did we all just collectively imagine it? Luke, I am your father. This one hurts. If you're a Star Wars fan, you've probably quoted this line a million times, Luke. I am your father. Except Darth Vader never says that. The actual line is, no, I am your father. That's right, one of the most famous movie quotes of all time doesn't even exist the way we remember it. What's going on here? Curious George's missing tail. Remember Curious George, the mischievous little monkey? Did he have a tail? If you said yes, I've got bad news for you. Curious George has never had a tail. But why do so many people remember him swinging from trees with one? It's like reality is playing a cruel prank on us. These are just a few examples, but the list goes on and on. The more you dig into the Mandela Effect, the more you'll find yourself questioning not just your memory, but the very fabric of reality itself. Why does this matter? Okay, so why should you care about the Mandela Effect? I mean, it's fun to geek out over misremembered movie quotes and product logos, but does it really mean anything in the grand scheme of things? Spoiler alert, it absolutely does. The Mandela Effect isn't just about quirky examples. It's about challenging the way we see the world and our place in it. Think about this. If our memories, those deeply personal, defining moments, can be so easily distorted, what else might we be wrong about? It's kind of unsettling, isn't it? We like to think of reality as this solid, unchanging thing. But the Mandela Effect pokes holes in that idea. It forces us to consider the possibility that reality is more fluid and flexible than we've been led to believe. And here's where it gets really interesting. If reality can change, or if our perception of it can shift, then maybe we have more power over it than we realize. What if the Mandela Effect is a sign that we're co-creators of reality? That our collective consciousness shapes the world around us? It's a big idea, but it's worth thinking about. On a more personal level, the Mandela Effect can teach us to be more open-minded. It's a reminder that we don't know everything, and that's okay. Life is full of mysteries, and maybe we're not meant to figure them all out. Maybe the beauty of the Mandela Effect is in the way it challenges us to stay curious and humble. So, the next time you come across a Mandela Effect moment, don't dismiss it as just a quirky brain glitch. Take it as an opportunity to explore the deeper questions about reality, memory, and consciousness. Who knows? You might just uncover something profound. The big picture. What does it all mean? Now, let's step back and look at the big picture. What does the Mandela Effect really mean? Is it just a strange quirk of memory, or is it something much deeper? Let's explore some possibilities. At its core, the Mandela Effect challenges our understanding of reality. We like to think of the world as a stable, unchanging place, governed by rules and facts. But what if that's not true? What if reality is more like a river constantly flowing, shifting, and evolving? The Mandela Effect could be a glimpse into that fluidity. It's like pulling back the curtain on The Wizard of Oz and realizing the world isn't as straightforward as it seems. For some, the Mandela Effect is proof that there's more to reality than meets the eye. It raises questions about the nature of consciousness, the existence of parallel universes, and even the possibility that we're living in a simulation. If that's the case, then the Mandela Effect is like a glitch in the system, a crack in the facade of reality that gives us a peek behind the scenes. But even if you don't buy into the more out there theories, the Mandela Effect still has something valuable to teach us. It's a reminder that our perception of reality is just that perception. It's shaped by our memories, beliefs, and experiences, all of which are subjective and prone to error. And that's okay. In fact, it's kind of liberating. It means we don't have to cling so tightly to our version of the truth. We can stay open to new ideas, new possibilities, and new ways of seeing the world. So, what does the Mandela Effect mean to you? Is it a harmless quirk, a cosmic mystery, or a sign that reality is far stranger than we ever imagined? Whatever your answer, one thing's for sure. The Mandela Effect is a fascinating reminder that there's always more to learn, more to explore, and more to question. All right, We've gone deep down the rabbit hole of the Mandela Effect, and by now, your mind might be spinning with questions. Is reality changing? Are we slipping between parallel universes? Or is it just that our brains are messing with us? Honestly, there's no definitive answer, but maybe that's what makes it so fascinating. The Mandela Effect isn't just a collection of quirky examples. It's a doorway to a much bigger conversation about reality, perception, and even the nature of existence itself. So, here's the big takeaway. The Mandela Effect reminds us of something really important. We don't have it all figured out. And you know what? That's not a bad thing. Life is supposed to have mysteries. It's what keeps us curious, what makes us dig deeper, and what keeps us questioning the world around us. Imagine how boring life would be if we had all the answers. Mysteries like the Mandela Effect, they're what make the universe so endlessly fascinating. Now, let's talk about you. Have you ever experienced the Mandela Effect firsthand? Maybe you were convinced that the Monopoly man had a monocle. Or you could swear you've seen Curious George with a tail. Or maybe you've come across something even crazier that we didn't cover today. If you have, I want to hear about it. Seriously, drop it in the comments. Let's turn this video into a giant Mandela Effect story swap. Who knows? Maybe someone else will share a memory that blows your mind even more. And here's another thought. What if the Mandela Effect isn't just a glitch, but a clue? A clue that reality is way more flexible and mysterious than we realize. If that's true, then what does that mean for you? Could you have more control over your reality than you think? Could your thoughts, your beliefs, and your memories actually shape the world around you? It's a big idea, but one worth considering. So if this video got your gears turning, if it made you question even a little bit about the world you thought you knew, do me a favor, hit that like button. Share this with someone who loves a good mystery or someone whose mind could use a little blowing. And don't forget to subscribe, because we've got plenty more reality-bending, mind-expanding content coming your way. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and most importantly, stay curious. Reality might be a little strange, but maybe that's exactly what makes it so incredible. Peace out.